guys, today I'm doing a book review on North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell tells the story of two contrasting regions in England. That of the north, where agriculture is the main income, and the south, where industrial mills are on the rise. Margaret Hale and her family move from the south, and they receive a cultural shock by how different the north is. Margaret learns to understand the northern way of life, but clashes with mill owner John Thornton over their opposing points of view. Oh boy, yeah guys, I might be disappointing some people, but on Goodreads I ended up giving North and South a 2-star rating. It was just okay to me. I've been having a lot of problems with classics lately. I don't know what my problem is. I had a hard time with Northanger Abbey and Persuasion by Jane Austen. I had a rough time with A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I was kind of hoping North and South might break that, break that horrible streak for me, but yeah, this was just kind of disappointing to me, and yeah, just not really one of my favorites, unfortunately. Now, this book had its moments of being entertaining. I definitely loved certain parts of it. There were some moments that got really dark and intense, and I felt like the action was just moving very quickly. But other than that, the book just read very slowly for the most part. And I think by the time I was finished with this book, I really felt like it was over long. It felt too long. I felt like certain chunks of it could have been taken out, quite honestly. So let's get into the positives here. What are some of the particular things that I did enjoy? I loved the Margaret and Mr. Thornton thing going on. I really enjoyed their dynamic. Just very fascinating, very intense. Definitely some sexual chemistry there that the two of them are just conflicted about. And oh boy, do they clash. Like I said, this book, it's North and South. Margaret initially comes from the south. She moves to the north. Mr. Thornton's lived his whole life in the north. And yeah, they both come from two different worlds in a sense. Just how the north is, how the south is, and that the way of life, how it's depicted in this particular book. And yeah, when these two clash, they clash hard. And yeah, the whole thing of opposites attract. And yeah, it's with their relationship that Elizabeth Gaskell really ponders some of the bigger themes going on in this particular story, being modern versus being traditional, men versus women, rich versus poor. And another dynamic that I particularly enjoyed in this novel, I really liked the Hale family relationships. I loved Margaret's relationship with her mother and her father. And then, yeah, there's this estrangement with her brother. Not that it's a done on purpose type of estrangement. Her brother has done some things in the past that are questionable, and he's probably been accused wrongly, let's say, for some things, and yeah, he has to distance himself from his family. So there's a purposely done estrangement in a sense, because of him having to take off. But yeah, I love the family relationship between the Hales. And for me, because I did love the family dynamic, it's like I wish the whole novel had been that. I wish the whole novel had been Margaret's relationship with her family alongside Mr. Thornton. And yeah, that is a good chunk of the novel, but yeah, like I said, there were some things that I would have preferred to be cut out, and some of the things that I would have preferred to be cut out would have been the whole Higgins family subplot. And to me, I often felt like when we got to the Higgins family, the plot slowed down immensely, and I just didn't care. Which is a shame, probably, to say, but I just didn't care. And I totally understand the point that the Higgins family was there for, because the Higgins family, they are Northerners, they come from, a rough background, they're very poor, one of the daughters is very ill. Yeah, I understand what Elizabeth Gaskell was doing with the Higgins family, what purpose they were supposed to be serving, but yeah, at the end of the day, they were very boring. And I just didn't care, pretty much. And yeah, the way Elizabeth Gaskell writes this novel, she gives the Higgins family a very strong, like, I guess, a very strong northern accent, a poor northern accent, and it's a rough dialect, you guys. The way it's wrote out in the book, it's rough to read, and yeah, that's where some of my problems came in, is that because of how rough it is to read that dialect, how it's written out, it made the reading slower, and I just couldn't get through it, so it was terrible. So yeah, you guys, overall a 2-star rating, just not for me. I know there's people who love this book. It just wasn't for me, unfortunately. I appreciated overall what Elizabeth Gaskell was going for. I appreciated the themes that she was going for. Like I mentioned, modern versus traditional, men versus women, rich versus poor, and there's a ton of things. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just felt like this book was overlong. There were too many subplots going on when I felt like it should have just focused on a couple. The thing is, though, the reason I decided to pick up this book is because I freaking loved is it the 2004? Let me look at my notes. Yes, the 2004 miniseries that starred Daniela Denby-Ashe as Margaret Hale and the gorgeous Richard Armitage as Mr. Thornton. I love that miniseries. It was amazing. It was so good, and that really piqued my interest to read this book. But oh boy, the miniseries, in my opinion, was way better, and that might be blasphemous to say. So you guys, that's it for my book review of Elizabeth Gaskell's North and South. I'm sorry if I've upset you or offended you, because I know people love this book, but yeah, it just wasn't for me, unfortunately. So yeah, in the comments below, have you guys read North and South? Do you love it? Do you hate it? If you hate it, that's okay. Just share your thoughts with me down below. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.